Hi guys, let's take a trip. Let's take a trip down the road of the gym, the non-complacency part of the gym. When it comes to building muscles, there are many aspects that we can look at. Bunch of different stuff to do outside and inside the gym. A lot of things that are overlooked when it comes to outside of the gym. We'll get back to that at some point. But today we're going to focus on what happens in the gym and how can you build muscle in the gym. There's one thing that happens a lot when it comes to anyone that goes to the gym. Many of my clients will recognize themselves. I do that as well, and I realize at some point sometimes I do that on repeat and I need to catch myself and try to stop doing it. There are 4 things we're going to look over. When you get to a point that you've been to the gym for X amount of time, usually a couple months on the same program, and this is why we often change programs. This is why any of my clients change programs every 4 weeks to 5 weeks-ish, because we just want to make sure that they keep challenging themselves. The longer you stay on the program, more chances of doing this specific problem, which is taking the exact same weight at the exact same rep scheme to the exact same tempo and the exact same sets over and over and over and over. And then you know, after a couple of months, you're going to send me a DM being like, I don't know why, but I'm stuck. And then we're going to look at, well, do you challenge yourself? When a client has been on a specific program for a couple of weeks, I just ask them, right? What's the weight that you use here? And we'll look at the weight and say, oh, I'm going to use 100 pounds for that. How many reps do you do? 10. I'm like, okay, how could you have done? And usually it's never, well, 10 was my max. Happens, but it's rare. Usually the answer is like, well, I don't know, 13, maybe 15. I'm like, why didn't you? Why didn't you do the 15 reps? Well, it says 10. Okay, then increase the weight and do a real 10. So then I put the exact weight that I want them to use, and then they start doing that and like, oh shit, I was chilling. I was not doing anything. Now I'm working out again. Yes. So we're going to look at those 4 different things that you can do today, maybe today or tomorrow or anytime when you get to the gym to remind yourself how to grow muscle. And those are the only 4 things you have to look at when you're at the gym. We're not going to talk about form. It's very specific for everything. Obviously, you have a good form. This just, you know, it's a given. We're going to look at reps, sets, tempo, and weight. So when it comes to building muscle in the gym, most people will default to adding more weights. And this is fine, but at some point, maybe your form will break down. Maybe you're kind of stuck in between 2 things. You're like, oh my God, I can only increase for 5 or 10 pounds and I can't do 5 or 10 pounds more. What should I do? And then they go back to the normal weight and they do the normal weight or the normal everything. We don't want to be normal. We want to be muscly. This is what we want. So you can default to other stuff. You can add a set, you can add reps, or you can decrease the tempo. So those are your options. This is what I like to do when it comes to progression. When it comes to taking my bench press from, I don't know, let's say 300 to 310. Who knows? If I use 300 and I can do 10, I can't, by the way, don't be like, oh my God, you're so strong. I don't know, maybe I can, I have no idea at this point. But if I can do 10 at 300 pounds, but I'm like, I can't go and just add weights. Maybe you can, and this is my point, maybe you can. So first, you need to know, can I add weights? So how you know that? You add weights. You just add weights and you see what happens, right? If the amount of reps decreases drastically when you add weights, well, you weren't there yet. Go again. So go back to the initial weight. But if that works, awesome. You have your new weights at your new prescribed reps in the amount of sets that you have to do, at the tempo that you have to do. Moving forward, this is your new weight. You do that over and over until you can, again, add weights. At some point, you'll stay stuck. You'll be, oh my God, I can't add weights, what I do? And this is where you need to play with the other values. The first one of the easiest ones to do, tempo. You can always slow down or speed up, as a matter of fact. We won't go into every details of these and what they do. It's kind of complex and depends on your specific workouts. But let's say I'm stuck with my weight. I want to increase the amount of volume, but I can't increase the weight that I use. I'm going to decrease my eccentric tempo to make sure that I have more volume at the same exact weights for the same exact set at the end of my workout. So if you have a normal tempo at a gym, which is that, right? This is gonna feels like a normal tempo that everyone does at the gym. And you're like, all right, I do 10, and I'm like, 10. Now, let me do 10 again, but twice as slow here, right? I'm just gonna go twice as slow. Now you took the exact same weight, you took the exact same reps, you took the exact same sets, but you increased time under tension, you increased the time that your muscle was overloaded. Congratulations, you've had made more volume, which is going to lead to, you got it, more muscle. So this is one thing you can do. Look at the tempo that you're using. How can you improve on tempo? How can you slow it down so that when you're stuck, you can, at some point, by decreasing the tempo, when you go back to a normal tempo, you'll be able to add some weight. And you repeat that process. Now, let's say I'm stuck with the weight, I'm stuck with the tempo, I'm very mindful, focused when I do things, but again, I can't add more weight. I'm just not there yet. What can I do? Well, if you want to add more volume without having to add any other value of it, easy, add one set. So go from, I don't know, let's say you have 12 sets of chest on your chest day. Now, if you add a set for your four different exercises, well, you go from 12 to 16 sets. That might be too much. This is your program, this is your plan. If you're not a client of mine, figure it out. Now you just need to know, I need to increase volume. Is 12 to 16 too high? Most likely. Chill out, go 12 to 13. Pick the first exercise. That should be your hardest exercise, bench press, for example, and go from 3 to 4 sets. So now with the same exact weight, with the same exact tempo, with the same exact amount of reps, you've added more volume by adding one set. Very simple, very easy. You gained muscle because you created an overload from the previous time you've worked out. Obviously, this is also something you can't do forever. You can't always have a set. It's going to be madness at some point. So what do you do next? Next, you increase the reps. And this is usually how I do everything, right? This is usually how I go about things. Usually I first try to increase the reps, but this is just me because my tempo is usually slow and my sets are usually at my max capacity for time. So my way of increasing before I can increase a weight is going with the reps. So if I can do 10 reps at a specific weight, I'm stuck on tempo because this is optimized. I'm stuck on sets because this is optimized. I'm stuck on weights because this is optimized. What do? I try to bring my 10 to 11. Not 10 to 20. If you can do 10 to 20, you weren't optimized anywhere else. I try to do my 10 and I try to sneak in another one. I'm just like, oh, shoot, I did 11. Awesome. You put a note to it. Today, I was a good boy. I did 11 reps, and last week I did 10. So next week, guess what? I'll try to do 12 because now 11 is my baseline at that weight, at that tempo, at that amount of sets, right? You don't go back to 10. You're not like, it was just a good day. No, now it's 11. I'm sorry. Now you need to move on. So you just look. and you try. You sneak a 12. You sneak a 13. And that's the point when you get to 12 and 13, and mind you, this takes some time, but at some point when you get to 10 to 13 plus, right? Congratulations. You are ready to increase the weight. Add 5 pounds, add 10 pounds, add what you can increase. That's gonna naturally bring you back down to maybe a 10, maybe an 8, I don't know your program, you do what you have to do. It's going to bring you down to where you are, but with a heavier weight than 3-4 weeks ago, where you had to optimize all of this. And then you repeat that process over and over and over, and you're going to forget about it. And you're going to work out for a specific amount of time. At some point, you'll be like, oh my God, it's been 4 weeks. I haven't changed anything. Not my sets, not my reps, not my weights, not my anything. And then you catch yourself and you're like, all right, let's just go again, try again, do that again. And you just gonna increase it, go again, and you're gonna have more muscle than The Rock in a couple of months, right? Maybe not. The Rock is kind of big, more muscle than me. So those are the 4 things I want you to look at as of right now. Well, the first thing is go to the gym. I wanted to curse there. Go to the gym. If you're still not working out, there's no point of thinking about these things. Just get to the gym, lift weights, right? But if you've been optimizing everything, those are the 4 things you need to look at. Is it the weight that I should be using at that specific amount of reps? Can I do more? First, try that. And maybe you'll surprise yourself. Maybe you're like, oh my God, I could do 5 more. Then if you could, you increase the weight, drastic. Easy, simple. You have your new weight, you have your new stuff, go with that. Now you get stuck for about a week. All right, I'm gonna slow down. All right, I've slowed down. Now what? I'm gonna have the set. Great, I'm at 4 sets. Oh, okay, what do I do next? Gonna push the reps up, right? 1 rep at a time until I'm back again to that 13, 14, 15, depending on where you are. And you add more weights and you repeat and you repeat. Very easy, very simple. If you have other questions, well, let me know. I'll tell you. Other than that, well, I'll see you soon.